It's a big night for Terence Bud Crawford. He fights Sean Porter, and in my opinion, this is the biggest fight in Terence Crawford's career. It's not his biggest accomplishment if he beat him, because his biggest accomplishment thus far was becoming undisputed at 140. But defeating Sean Porter would be the biggest fight, single fight of his career. Because even though Bud has accomplished a lot at 140, and even moving the welterweight, getting the belt when he beat Jeff Horn, people feel like at the welterweight division, or even in his career, period, he hasn't truly been tested. It hasn't really been no doubt. A doubt. Can Bud really beat him? Are you sure? What about the style? That's what Sean Porter bring. And a couple of other fighters would have brought that too in the welterweight division. If he would have fought Keith Thurman, it would be the same situation. Of course, if he fought Earl. But when you look at the big fights of the past, see, these motherfuckers be milking it too much back then. Like I had a video in the past talking about how Ali fought Norton, Frazier, and Foreman all in 1 year. They didn't play. It didn't take that long for them to build up fights like they do now. And I'm saying that to say Bud should have been tested at the welterweight division. But we ain't gonna talk about what's in the back. We gotta talk about the night, man. It's big. These one of them fights that'll make or break a fighter. Make or break. When you speak about I beat anybody, once you get that chance to really prove it where the people really buy in and be like, you know what, okay, I'm gonna invest into this fight because I believe it's finally promoted with some suspense. Can he beat him? Those the fights that you really that could make a person, because it was suspense. But it also could break you, because it could be like, damn, soon as you got tested, you failed. You are eliminated from the big fights. So, but for me, what I feel, the aura, I feel like Bud gonna pull it off. The only thing I'm clueless on, like I hear a lot of people breaking down their predictions. It's gonna be this. It's gonna some shit. It ain't even about the technical. It's the spirit of it's the energy of fighters. And to me, it's a certain suspense. Like I believe Bud gonna rise to the occasion because I see it in his eyes. But I don't know how he's gonna beat Sean Porter. Sean Porter, okay, we seen him down a couple of times. We seen Broner catch him late. He got right back up. He wasn't too hurt. We seen everybody, including myself, believe when he fought Earl, it was a even fight up until the point when Earl got the knockdown. And I feel like that gave Earl the edge to get the victory. I feel like he deserved the victory. But if Earl didn't get that knockdown, I wouldn't have felt like it's a robbery if they would have said Sean Porter beat him, from what I remember in that fight. I remember when we had, shout out to BluntRapENT, I remember Keith Thurman fought Sean Porter, and we had the fight at Baseline Barbers. 85% of the people that attended the event felt that Sean Porter beat Keith Thurman, but they felt Keith Thurman was going in another direction marketing wise, so they felt that they in a close fight they gonna go with who they feel the money was. They went with Keith Thurman. I'm basically saying Sean Porter has never really been dominated for real, or truly beat. So just because Bud is great, it's hard for us to still envision Porter just being dominated. It don't matter if you Bud or not. We haven't seen it done. So it's a suspense. I feel Bud gonna win, but I don't know how he's gonna win. And I'm not even gonna act like the niggas on YouTube who's So he's going to hit him with the jab. And no, man, this ain't one of those type of fights that got shit to do with the X and O's. It got something to do with who can make who more uncomfortable. To me, the pressure's on Bud. It ain't on Sean Porter. He fought everybody. He fought everybody. The shit that niggas don't do, which is fight everybody. He fought everybody. And fights could have went either way. Period. But me, just being a fan of boxing, I want to see Bud versus Earl. That's the Sugar Ray Tommy Hearns fight of this generation. And in order for me to see it with that type of sizzle, I'm looking forward to Bud really putting on the show, really dominating Sean Porter. That's what I want to see. I love boxing. I want to see the nigga that really want to be great. I've even seen the great Floyd Mayweather be in fights that he won, but I see it in his demeanor. He's don't give a fuck about making a statement. He done already had so many licks. He done already been great. I'm just gonna collect the check. And some people be doing that. It's cool. No, it's not the time for Bud to just try to win. Bud has to go in this fight thinking, I'm here to make a statement. Because at the end of the day, I'm a fan of boxing. I want to see the best fight the best, but I believe in the saga of boxing. I understand the fight game. I understand the promotion. You motherfuckers of this generation have no fucking personality. It's no real build up. I'm trying to give you motherfuckers the game. So right now, in order to make the overall boxing something to talk about, because we already done seen Sean Porter, the 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 gold is not in his stake to be the face of the sport. He's already been testing. He's a great challenge for the ones that they want to put the eggs on. And some eggs get spoiled. And some eggs rise to the occasion. That's those fights where if Earl would have been in a close fight with Sean Porter, which he was, they're going to raise Earl's hand. Get what I'm saying? Unfortunately, the Sean Porter's got to deal with that. Because they might not have the pleasing style, but you got to respect that they fight everybody. They make it exciting. But you are who you are. Sugar Ray Leonard got a different type of it factor about him that we gonna put our stock in this. Sean Porter don't really got that it. And it's okay. It's okay. You had opportunity. If you ain't gonna Iron Mike knock a nigga out, you are that glorified gatekeeper. He's the gatekeeper that get money. If that makes sense. He's the ultimate test. Earl already passed the test and barely passed it. Now it's Bud go. Bud has to dominate. He has to put on such a performance where Bud gotta dominate so much where all the praise that Earl be getting, Earl the man. Bud gotta make the people feel that Earl is in trouble. That makes sense? And that's when the fight got sizzled. We didn't have a pandemic. Earl was supposed to fight Pacquiao for the fan base, and God stripped him of that opportunity for whatever reason with the detached or the slight tear on the retina. And you see how God worked? The guy that filled in for Earl Spence, Ugas from Cuba, he filled in and dominated Manny Pacquiao because he's a good fighter. And Pacquiao, sometimes you can't do that. You training hard for one fighter and it switched to another motherfucker. So that fighter, remember we was talking about the stock? He fought Sean Porter a couple of years ago, and most fight fans And people in the media felt that Sean Porter really lost, but he didn't have as much stock. So they gave it to who? Sean Porter. But look how God look out. Instead of Ugas being discouraged, he was staying ready so he didn't have to get ready. He filled in, beat Pacquiao, which is a hell of a fight because it's Pacquiao when it wasn't even designed for you to do that. And now he's in a bigger position than the nigga they robbed him. They didn't PBC didn't sacrifice Sean Porter at this point. And it's a sacrifice that Sean Porter understands. You already fought Keith Thurman, you already fought Earl, you already fought Danny Garcia. You don't have that it, but you a hard fighter. Once a nigga in position, they not rematching a nigga like you if they don't have to. If the fans ain't complaining. So I don't want boxing to take a spoil tonight by Porter beating Bud because it fucks it up. Bud is not big like Pacquiao. Remember when we wanted Pacquiao to fight Floyd, but then Pacquiao dumbass ended up getting knocked out by Marquez, which made them have to rebuild the fight again because they had to still make the fight because these are two large entities. Pacquiao, Mayweather, but they had to waste 3 more years of building up because of the bullshit. You could do that with Pacquiao. Bud, you fuck around and lose like that tonight. The Porter ain't no rebuilding you for Earl because you niggas is not big enough. You're done. That's why it's the moment of truth for Terence Bud Crawford. Because Sean Porter done already proved he's a glorified gatekeeper. All he got to do is give Bud Crawford a tough fight. And his name is not completely gone. He could go to 154 and get money. But if Bud lose and lose crucial, ain't no rebuild, nigga. It's over.